Hello everyone, it's Pablo Kuntz here from Unique Japan, and I'm coming to you again from my humble abode in England, where I now live after having spent almost 20 years in Nihon, Japan, in Tokyo area. A lot of my customers ask me about the Shirasaya. The Shirasaya is that sort of plain, called white scabbard. Technically, that's what a Shirasaya means. It doesn't actually look white, it's a bit more brown actually. And you'll see sometimes swords housed in this Shirasaya online, and some of my customers get relatively disappointed. They think, oh, it doesn't have the grandeur of the tsuka, the silk handle, and of course the tsuba. But there's a very special reason for housing these swords inside a Shirasaya, and I think of it as the pajamas for the samurai sword, because the samurai would dismantle their sword, take off the mountings, and then place the sword inside the Shirasaya at night. And I sometimes refer to it as the humidor for a Japanese sword. This sword, the Shirasaya, will basically keep the sword in the right temperature and the right humidity, so that it lowers the risk of getting any corrosion on the blade, especially at night when you have certain temperature drops. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my sword that's already in its mountings right here, and I'm going to, just like the samurai did at night when they returned home, to dismantle the sword and place the sword inside its Shirasaya. Okay? So first take off the scabbard of the saya, and this is the mikugi, right? The little kind of wooden pin that holds it together. I've heard that this mikugi sometimes is made from the chopsticks of from soba chopsticks. I'm not sure how much truth there is to that, but sounds good to me. Hold it with your left hand. This is taken on my Mac, so this might look like my right hand. It's not, it's your left hand. Slightly, kind of take the sword, pull it back a little bit. Some people, they sometimes bang it on kind of parallel to the floor. Better to hold it straight, a little bit back towards your shoulder. Give your hand a bit of a tap, and then take off the tsuka. Now, I sometimes do this actually sitting down and nicely relaxed. It's really important that you are relaxed and you're just enjoying your sword. So take off the pieces that comprise your koshidai. Okay. Seppa, these are the washers right here. And of course this is the tsuba, or the guard on the sword itself. Okay. And then you can leave the habaki on the actual sword itself. Okay, so leave the habaki. Okay, and then take your Shirasaya and place the sword inside. Then get your mikugi out and put your mikugi inside the hole there. Okay, and give it a nice little tap. Yeah, now my sword was recently oiled, so it doesn't need any polishing, but it's always a good idea to give it a nice little wipe, and then place it inside. Now remember, when you're placing a sword inside, make sure that the spine of the sword just gently coasts into the Shirasaya, and then that's going to be nicely secure inside. Okay, and oftentimes, now with every sword you have, you receive, of course, a silk bag and a stand. Every sword that gets invested on in Unique Japan, we always provide a stand, but also some silk bags to carry the sword. I personally keep my sword inside the bags. I have a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old, and there's just no chance I'm going to put it, put my sword out on a stand unless it's on some special occasion. Okay, so just wrap up the sword nicely in its bag. Okay, now you recall now we have the saya. Of course, this is empty now because the sword is now inside the Shirasaya. So this is where the tsunagi, or that mirror of the sword. This is a mirror of the actual sword. It's 58 centimeters long, and then you can then think of this as your sword, of course, and you place all your mountings on the tsunagi and then place it inside the saya. Okay, so it kind of keeps everything in place. So let's see here. This Seppa 1. Now, it already comes with its own pre-made habaki. The habaki stays with the Shirasaya. Okay, the habaki is what secures the sword inside the saya. Place the place the tuba, then the other seppa. The sword is, this wooden piece is very light. It's all handcrafted. Remember, all these pieces are handcrafted. So much history. Just love it. Okay, give it a little tap. Okay, then just a little tap. What I did there is I hold it with my left hand, a little tap from on the kashida at the bottom. Okay, that secures everything. Take your mekugi and then pop it in. So now that's all secure, you see, and with a wooden blade. Then take your saya again, and voila, nice and neat and tidy. Now this silk bag is a little bit old, but it's the way it is. And then you can just place your sword inside your beautiful silk bag, and then tie it up. Okay, so that's how you know. Some people keep the swords outside, and that's why you see oftentimes on a samurai sword stand, first you see the two levels, right? And those two levels can be used, one for the Shirasaya and one for the koshidai, the mounted sword on top. Or, of course, if you purchased a daisho, which is, of course, the wakizashi, and a katana, you can have the wakizashi on top or below, as a samurai would do. So I hope you found this little video on the Shirasaya and the koshidai helpful, and I look forward to seeing you at one of our sword shows and online in the future. Cheers. Bye-bye.